Transcend humanity with Omen.
What is that?
It's cutting edge VR, Flynn.
It looks like it's something from the future, you know?
Flynn took a trip to future London, saw something she wasn't supposed to. Now people from there are trying to kill us.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Amazon University Esports CSGO playoffs for UK and Ireland, powered, of course, by Prime Video, Prime Student, and Omen. I am joined today by Yuki to cover this best-of-3 matchup between Super Cali and Podbots. Before we get into it, how are you feeling tonight, Yuki?
Feeling really good. I mean, I'm full of energy. Slept in quite late today, so of course, you know, I'm really buzzing. That's what it is. And of course, I'm looking forward to seeing some really good CS. Of course, you know. Yeah, hopefully we see some clutches because I'm hyped up for those.
Same here, same here. Let's take a look over at the bracket, though. We'll talk about how these teams got here because round one started a little late. That's why we're a little late kicking things off, but KCL Lions lost to Super Cali, putting them through to the next round, and then putting KCL Lions down to the lower bracket. Podbots taking the win up against UEA Blue Jays, moving them into this, and then of course KCL Lions and UEA Blue Jays are going to be playing each other, but we're not going to be covering that one today. But we got two winners, so that's always a positive. It should be a good game of CS, because both these rosters fairly experienced, but I will say Super Cali have made a point that they are just playing for fun.
Yes, indeed. That is the point that they have decided to tell us that they're playing for fun. They've met through the Esports Society of course, the Glasgow Caledonian University. So that's really nice. Of course, their core, Cass, Kipray, and Hexton, they've stuck through quite a lot of seasons together. Like, for example, they've played at the Chill Blast LAN together. And of course, they've got two new additions, that being Slippers and also that being Marma, which is quite nice for them, of course. Meanwhile, Podbots, well, they've played a lot of ESEA Open together. From what I can see, Frosty, he can boast about being from the UK Pro League, of course, that being on the Faceit Hub. And it is their second Newell season currently, and they've just finished the ESEA Season 44 in the Open division.
I can't help but notice, though, we talk about like the levels of experience. Super Cali are the ones playing for fun, but they're actually the ones with a coach, whereas Podbots don't have a coach. So what's going on there? If you're playing for fun, why are you bringing someone extra in? And also, Podbots, what are you doing? Are you really that confident in your ability?
I mean, I'm not sure. I do remember Ting. Ting is like the old core of T4, which was the previous iteration of Southampton's main CSGO team. And Ting is quite an experienced IGL, so I would say he does make up for the lack of coach. Meanwhile, for Super Cali, I'm not sure. To be honest, sometimes you just bring the sixth in as, you know, your friend and just say, you know, come on, come observe us, you know, let's have some fun, and then we'll go drinks after.
Keep a backup player. I like it. I like it. Let's take a look over at the Vetoes, though, because I believe that they are in, and we can find out exactly what map we're going to be ending up on. What do you think of these ones? First of all, going Inferno, then to Mirage, and then at the end going all the way to Ancient. Would you say these maps are similar in terms of the style, or do you think we're going to see very different playstyles on each map?
Well, the picks from both of the teams, they're quite similar. Of course, both of the sides deciding, you know what, we'll start on the CT on our opponent's pick. Inferno and Mirage, look, without Inferno, there is no best of three. That's what I learned, you know. It always will have to appear at some point, whether it's decided or whether it's picked by somebody. It has to just appear there. It is more of a mix map in the current meta, I would definitely say, with how much it is played. But still not as much as Mirage. On Mirage, I have seen a lot of upsets where teams who would literally play for a week or two with each other would beat some quite well-made teams that have a lot of chemistry and a lot of synergy together working, and they have actually proper strats. So while the two picks should favor the teams that have picked them respectively, there is still room for some upsets. And then Ancient, well, that's just like taking a different page of a book and ending up in a completely different story. Ancient is like fast-paced, you know, you want a lot of quick executes there, you want a lot of carnage going, basically. And the fact that they have to knife for the sides there, yeah, it just shows you that we'll have chaos there.
It's going to be an exciting one, I'm sure. I think it's going to be good, though. We'll get the balance of the very strategic, methodical playstyle as we start out on Inferno and Mirage. Then when we head over to Ancient, it will throw a lot up in the air. So I think it really tests the resiliency of a lot of these teams, you know, being able to bounce between the playstyles. And I'm maybe a little bit surprised that Ancient wasn't banned earlier on.
I mean, in the recent meta, a lot of teams have shifted to this sort of Ancient pick, purely because it used to be Vertigo. Vertigo used to be that fast-paced, carnage-packed map, but nowadays it is Ancient, and Ancient is pretty much Vertigo's brother, I would say. Like, basically, you have the same kind of strats, same kind of tempo. A lot of utility is used in the same exact way, really. And yeah, you just... it's like Vertigo, but in the jungle, basically.
Yeah, one thing I'm really interested in seeing here is the teams have given us some interesting facts about themselves before starting. And one fact that drew my attention on Podbox is the fact that Kazam apparently has an average of 0.15 kills in the pistol round. And they apparently do not have a very good history with pistol rounds. So, you know, sure, they get to pick the side, but surely that's got to hold them back a little bit in that first map of the evening.
That could be quite deceiving, to be honest, because it does say in 2 pistol rounds during those 24 that they have played currently in this season, he's managed to get 4 kills just from those 2 rounds. So that could be quite deceiving, honestly. And we had a situation of that in the last playoffs, in the Winter 2022 season, where basically one of the players said that they really struggle with pressure when they're on air. And then in the pistol round, he proceeded to just drop a 4K casually.
It's the way it goes, and that's the thing we love about university esports, isn't it? There is so much that's unpredictable, so many players that we might not have seen before that are so capable of popping off. I'm excited to see. So obviously you have a bit more experience with CS than me. Are there any names that are really standing out to you as like, this is the player we need to be watching in this match? Or is it just a case of the strong rosters, there's a couple new players coming in, and there's just so much up in the air?
Well, with these two teams, it's the matter of old cores basically getting some friction and playing against each other. But as I'm sure, as we go into the first map, that being Inferno, we will definitely see the IGL battle, that being Ting against Kaz, of course.
Well, in we get to round number 1 of our first match for the upper bracket this evening. Kazam throwing out the decoy early. Interesting call as they just decide to play it a little bit slow. Making some noise right now. Really just trying to bait out the CTs a little bit. Get a good read on where they're going to be and then start actually making that push. But it looks like B is going to be the number 1 priority right now for Podbots.
Yes, indeed, and they do manage to go with this classic contact play towards Banana. There's, of course, just 2 players from Super Kali Haxton with a very interesting way of spotting any sort of contact, but now the contact has commenced.
Nicely done to slow it down by Haxton. The position's not given away, but none of the shots seeming to land. Manages to pop a headshot, but Ting trades it out quickly. Following with the second as well, so Podbots with the man advantage for now. Slipper's going to be coming round through the back, just waiting, but Ting's holding it, and now the bomb is down. The push comes out, and Kitbray takes out Ting quickly. But Frosty, yet again with the trade. Player for player going down right now as it's a 2v3. The smoke comes out and it looks like Slipper's going to try and push her way through. Lands the headshot onto Frosty. Looking out for the final 2 though and caught in a pinch. That's going to be end of Super Kali and Podbots take the first round.
0.15 by the way, as Kazem manages to get himself on the board already in the pistol. That was a very well done defense by Podbots, as they just decided to hide inside. One player, of course, helping from the banana, ready to swing whenever contact has been made, and they managed to secure the round. Very simple.
So Podbots now with the upper hand. It's really eyes on Super Kali to see how they respond to this. It looks like they're going to stack pretty much all their players over at B, but at least judging from the way that Podbots are moving, that might be the right call. waiting out for some info, but still nothing to come. And now the util usage over on A. This is the perfect opportunity for them to make the push, but playing it slow could give Super Cali the chance to rotate.
Indeed it could, but Podbots, they have the read for now. Of course, gathering information, they're trying to find out what Super Cali has tried in this eco round. As we can see, there's 4 cities towards B side. But Podbots, it seems like they will try to end on A. And we can already see one player from Super Cali making that rotation, anticipating that it is going to be the other side.
So the read's correct. Now it's on to Frosty. See how he wants to respond. Playing slowly, cautiously, not wanting to give anything away. It's only a matter of time now till these players start exposing themselves. Mama's been spotted, but doesn't hear anything. Goes for the knife and takes down Mama already. An early kill and a nice way to boost the economy early on. Out comes the peep from Ting, already snuck round the back. And Podbots, well, they won the pistol, looking to follow it up with a second in a row.
Indeed, it should be a nice and clean second round for Podbots. Meanwhile, Super Cali, it seems like the psychological warfare has already started. A knife to the back. That does not feel good in any circumstances.
It looks like Podbots, they're just not going to let this slide. They know that there might be something on the bodies of these players. Let's go and finish the job. However, Super Cali want to get themselves that AK if possible. It's not going to be easy when you're landing shots like that, though. Kipper's taken down, and Kazam decides to back off, eliminates Axton, and, well, Kipper's the only player left, and I'm not sure how much he's really working with here.
Not a lot. He was, of course, going for the Zeus. That Zeus has not been triggered yet, though, so he will carry it to round number 3. Meanwhile, Podbots, only 1 gun lost, so not a lot of problem. They'll be able to start building their momentum going forward into this first half.
So now, finally, maybe a chance for Super Cali to respond. They use the Zeus, so I guess that's something if they can get it, get a little bit of that economy working through, but at least being able to force something now, get some better weapons to try and defend themselves. It looks like everybody from Super Cali, though, wanting to play a little bit slow still. Nobody wants to overextend here, and that's really just given a lot of map control to Podbots early on.
That is true, but they do not know that Paxton, he's gotten himself into quite a favorable position. Of course, Cass is here to support his fellow man on Banana, as well, Ting has managed to spot it now, so they are aware Banana is lost.
Paxton waiting, though. This might be a bait onto Ting, and it works out beautifully. Ting swings out wide, and the bomb was down. It has been picked up by Arctic. Still a long way from the site as they finally force their way onto A. The smokes will be coming out, blocking off Slippers from spotting anything, but Mama's still there. So he gets mollied off, going to be forced for the peak, and it works out. Slippers, Mama, each getting a kill apiece, but Shaver's there to trade it out. Slippers follows up with another, trying to go through the smoke, but not able to find anything. Shiva backs up, goes to the spray, and now it's just a case of get this bomb down, get some dollars in the bank, but it isn't so easy when you're completely pinch like this.
Indeed, the case of getting the bomb down was not achieved as Super Cali finally they find themselves on the board. Slippers, very good round from them as they do manage to find those 2 kills, of course, on the onslaught onto the A side. And it's the case of, well, the support didn't decide to support this time. They decided to do the job themselves.
So Super Cali now with a round on the board. Can they carry that momentum forward? Cause some problems for Podbots as it looks like they want to quickly push up Banana, move towards B, but Super Cali ready for it. Throwing down the mollies, not letting anyone pass, and Arctic getting ready for the peak now. Barely any util on the front of Podbots, though. This is going to be a tricky one, but when Cass goes for the pre-fire like that, well, that's a free point and a free gun to grab off the body.
This could really backfire Haxton. He doesn't have his weapon of choice. Of course, the AUE from the side of Super Cali has to stick it on a rifle. And if Podbots, they decide to trigger on B, they could really struck gold in this one and potentially a 3rd round on top of that. But for now, they just decide to go back to A, it seems like.
So Super Cali, having expected that push to commit onto B, don't appear to be repositioning just yet. Smoke's coming out. That will give away a little bit of info to Kipray, but no shots land, and this could be the perfect opportunity now for Podbots to fake out that rotation with the bomb down already at B, with only 1 player on the site watching for protection. Now, surely Super Cali have to realize there's something going on here. Why are we not hearing more footsteps over on A? And it looks like Arctic about to give them the answer to that.
Indeed, but Haxton, he manages to stop the push just right now. Arctic falls down, and Haxton, oh, he's just not able to get any more from this. Slippers has to be condemned with just spraying through the smoke as Frosty manages to sell one more player to be in the coffin from A. And it's 1v4 all of a sudden.
Well, I thought for a second Frosty had spotted it, but apparently just a second too late. So Podbots now basically resetting Super Cali. They don't have much to work with, and I mean, if they force it here, it's a big gamble.
A big gamble indeed, but it's early on. 1-3. The round differential is not that big yet, so they could have risked it, but a couple of deagles, just upgraded pistols, that seems like the better choice in the long run.
Looks like Podbots now starting to get a little bit more aggressive with the way they're deciding to push, and Super Cali, well, they're stacked quite literally on B site. As it looks like Kipray going to be coming for some support on the other side. Armor goes down though. Now, A is fairly open till Kipray gets back over there for support. It's just a case of Super Cali, they make up their minds, they commit to something, then they lose a player and everything falls apart. They need to try and salvage this one with the Deagles. But Frosty's playing sneaky not to give anything away until Kipray gives away a free kill, and down goes one more from Super Cali. Pre-fire comes out from Haxton, but it's just not enough. And now Podbots, they're looking ready to take it until Haxton trades it with a headshot. Maybe another to follow on to Ting, but no. Now A-site in complete control and the bomb about to go down.
The bomb indeed about to go down. Podbots should get this 4th round comfortably. But the question is, can Super Cali get anything out of this? Cast with an AK, gets another crazy headshot on Ting, and well, you will have to defend this AK from 3 very potent T-side players, as Podbots are looking to hunt him down.
Completely surrounded, but can take solace in the fact that Podbots don't have any util, no Molotovs to work with. The flashes could cause major problems if they do decide to commit onto this and make that peak. But as of right now, it looks like Podbots happy keeping a player, covering A, making sure that they are pinched ultimately, no matter how Kaz decides to move. In comes the push. Kaz might be able to find one. Can they find the second? Evidently not. Frosty gets it. And it's 4-1 to Podbots, really starting to take the momentum now.
The momentum is definitely on the T side, but Super Cali, I would be very happy with this sort of a eco round from them. I mean, of course, Kaz getting those 3 kills on board with help of Haxton there from that boost, and then later on his own heroics. But now this allows Super Cali to basically get themselves into this gun round. And Frosty, he's finally on the big green.
It's starting to feel like Podbots are just ready to start rushing stuff now with the way that Shiva's moving into apps, ready to make that peek onto Kipray, but Haxton, this time able to find that opening kill. Flashbang support works out and blinds Arctic. Now it's just a case of popping shots down. No, just to make sure that nobody can get anywhere near. Seems like Podbots, the momentum's been slowed and starting to play a little bit more nervous than what we're used to. I say that as they hit the wallbang. That should be the opening yet again.
Indeed, it's all very chaotic. 1 entry kill on Banana, 1 entry kill on A, but now Chasm, he makes that 2 on A, and short falls Slippers, she will have to defend, and she gets that kill onto Chasm, 3v3, and the bomb is still not even close. The bomb is running down second mid, actually.
It's just a case of whether Super Cali actually decide to push onto this, and it almost looks like B is becoming freed up, so they're going to have to move quick if they want to get this bomb down. Frosty doing everything he can to try and get it in. Smoke is up, so it should cover one angle, but as Slippers starts to move around the back, Podbots really need to be wary of it. It looks like they are repositioning ready. It's going to be somebody Ting watching position. Smoke comes out. That'll be the giveaway, but it's only Frosty at close range with the AWP. Flashbangs, nades, all popping out everywhere as everyone tries to think ahead of the opposite team, but Frosty opens things up with the AWP. Shiva takes out on a second, and his Slippers left to run away again. There's Super Cali doing everything they can to save, but it just doesn't work out this round.
The delayed bomb plant from Frosty, that was actually quite good, as you could see the Super Cali players, they left themselves second guessing. They were still 2 towards B, expecting this sort of a fake coming in from the side of Podbots, and well, this cost them dearly. Now they have to be, yet again, on the worst equipment, and Podbots, they could really start steamrolling this map.
This is where things start to slip, isn't it, if you're Super Cali? This is an all-or-nothing round for at least the half, you'd have to think. If they lose this momentum, sure, they're going to be on a loss bonus, but how much can that really make up when round after round is slipping away? It just makes that T-side so much harder. Standard setup coming out here from Podbots, it seems like. They're pretty comfortable with the way that they're playing this early round, but as the flashes come out, starting to go for those wide peaks, and that is when Super Cali have been catching them.
Indeed, you can see the confidence is flowing on the T side as they start to be yet more aggressive with their info gathering. I mean, we can see Sheva and Chasm, of course, trying to get that aggressive stance towards apartments as Kaz has been taken down to 39. He's still able to get some sort of control on apps, but the push is very much imminent, and it seems like A is going to be the destination.
Kazam, ready for the peak. Smoke covers it. Nothing to worry about there. Shiva takes down Cass. Kazam goes for the re-smoke. Get him ready for a peek, and wow, Shiva through the boxes eliminates Kip Ray, and Super Cali yet again down to just 2 players. Podbot's yet to lose on. It could be a nice clean round for them.
Could be, unless Haxton has something to say about it, but Ting will quickly put him down to sleep. 6th round for Podbots on the board, and Super Cali, it seems like James G, their coach, needs to figure something out. Maybe take a tactical pause and talk about the plans, as it really seems like they are unable to do anything against Podbots' default on Inferno right now.
Oh, I can't help but notice Super Cali, they didn't start off the best in their previous round, and, you know, they kind of slipped half the game, as it were. But now, they hope not to repeat that, or they hope maybe to repeat that, pick up some more in the second half, because the CT side at this point is starting to look like a bit of a write-off unless something changes quick. They have pretty much full buy, so they should be looking good in terms of equipment, but if this gets reset again, they are going to be really struggling.
I mean, you could see that something is definitely feeling a little bit weird, as the person wielding the AUE on the side of Super Cali, that's actually their entry, Kipray. And the person who is supposed to have the AUE is Haxton, and he's just playing a rifle. On top of Roof, which is quite a good position, and he might be rewarded for it, as Shiva is about to pick, and Shiva, wow, what? That is an insane headshot.
The teamwork coming out from Podbots there. As soon as the flash goes, Shiva's ready for it and lands the headshot beautifully. Cass is trying to watch behind the hay bale, but it just isn't a wide line of sight. Not going to be spotting that peak until it's a little bit too late. Shiva going to move up top. Instead, though, maybe try and catch Cass off guard, as it looks like the whole of Super Cali are pretty prepared for an A push. Slippers, sorry, Kit Ray just going to be waiting behind. Not really certain yet. The bomb moving in towards A site. As now the repositions start to come through. The push on to B. It's a big fake out, and Ting, well, just single-handedly shuts down that site, sacrificing a teammate. Shiva's there to catch him on the rotate. Kit Ray misses the shot. And well, Super Cali in real trouble with the bomb just about to go down in time.
Indeed, that is a really good call from Ting. He manages to feel that Super Cali are still going to have players towards B and try to sell sort of a fake, but in doing so, he actually manages to open the whole entire site, and Podbots, they just managed to plant the bomb down for free, get around easily, and honestly, Podbots are steaming with confidence. You can see this, really. Ting and Shiva, both of 9 kills, Frosty Chasm not so far behind on 7, and honestly, the T-side is in hot pursuit of potentially even a 14-1.
Okay, so this is an interesting strat coming out from Super Cali. Looks like they just want to get this round over as quickly as possible, because they are just feeding themselves over to Podbots. Haxton able to trade one out, get some points on the board, but Ting quickly there to finish off the job onto Slippers. Only Haxton left, but not for long, as the Glock headshot lands. Haxton's down, and it is 8-1. This is becoming a bit of a hard game to watch if you're a Super Cali fan.
I mean, I appreciate the try going towards middle, but against Podbots, who are so confident, who are on a high, I'm not sure if that was the right idea, really. I mean, the round ended before it even began, really. And Super Cali They're taking an aggressive stance. Look at that. Haxton pushing into second mid, but he just gets flashed, and Shiva is able to capitalize. Yet again, another entry for Podbots.
It's honestly feeling at this point like Super Cali have just given up. They're trying to commit and make those aggressive pushes just in the hopes of finding a crack in the armor of Podbots, but it just hasn't happened. Sure, they took one down, but at this kind of deficit, there's not much you can salvage out of the round. A site is completely given away. Super Cali now are just going to have to try and save what they've got. There's no chance, really, of a retake unless some insane plays come out, and it doesn't look like that rotation is going to be coming anytime soon from Super Cali.
Indeed, they are very content with a save here. I mean, Podbots, they did choose Inferno. It is their map pick. Super Cali are just playing against home turf of Podbots, you could say. But it doesn't feel like they're comfortable. I mean, their main Opera Haxton, he hasn't even picked up the big green himself in any of the round, it feels like. It always has been someone else.
Good attempt at a shot there. Lands a little bit too far away to finish off the job, but Mama's there to take down Ting, and Slippers, she wallbangs Chiva. It's only Chasm left to try and finish off the job, but it looks like this time at least Super Cali going to be able to salvage an AWP and an M4. Tactical timeout, and I think if there was ever a time for Super Cali to use it, this is it. Time to rethink, reset, and reapproach the game, because the way that this is going, they are not going to be able to get that many rounds on the board.
Indeed, at this point, they have to salvage whatever is left. There's only 5 rounds left in this first half, and out of the 10 played, they've only got 1 on the board. So James and Kaz, they need to both brainstorm this and find a plan which could potentially harvest a couple of more rounds on the board for Super Cali. I mean, they've tried to make some aggression towards Podbots' default in the last couple of rounds, but it hasn't worked. So there must be a change in approach, otherwise this could be a bloodbath in the first half in terms of scoreline.
Super Cali, they've tried aggression, they've tried passive defense, and now Mama is going to try and avoid catching fire. Just about able to, but taking a lot of damage early, and it's not what you want for your AWP. Shaver takes a headshot onto Cass. Saxton's waiting. Another fall, Slippers down. Super Cali really struggling to hold on. 2 players over on A, and if Arctic gets the read onto this, it'll be a pretty quick push to take B site. The smoke is still there. Mama watching the edge of it as Haxton takes damage. Super Cali having to run back and give up so much control again. Kipray just going to be trapped in the corner here, and you have to think as soon as Podbots push through, they'll be cleaning that area out. Haxton goes down to the headshot. Chiva's finished off, and it's all on to Mama. AWP, it'll require an ace to take this round.
It would require that indeed, but the problem is Ting. Ting's actually thinking that this is another save round. Look at that. Podbots are going 4 people on a hunt. They've only left Shiva in pit. Marma could actually win this round if they wanted to, but the missed shot, oh, that's gonna hamper his chances. He needs to act very quick as the Podbots are going back towards site right now. Time is running, Ting's going on a flank, Marma is panicking, and the headshot will decide it. 10 on the board for Podbots, they make it into double digits after just 11 rounds.
Super Cali, they said they were playing for fun. I'm not sure how enjoyable this is for them right now. Really just hoping that maybe the T side can go a little bit better, because it has to for them. They're barely holding on to this game. It really could have been over in the first couple of rounds if they don't start to turn it round, and that's looking less and less likely now. Slippers getting ready to play point. It's Frosty just covering for the peak. Another Deagle round, and let's be honest, so far this game, they have not worked out for Super Cali.
Indeed, they've been quite rough those rounds on just Deagles against full AKs and AWP. And it doesn't seem to be any different. Kipray falls, but Cass does strike back with that 5-7. But look at that Shiva.
No.
It's just madness, honestly.
Shiva is just on a tear right now. Slipper's the only player left, but she's only got a Deagle. Is it even worth saving at this point? Maybe it's time to start thinking, hey, we just get ready for our T side, try and salvage a couple of kills, maybe get an AK or something out of this. But with the way that Podbots are posted up on B site, I don't think that Slippers has any idea of exactly where they are, unless she's just trying to play safe. Right now, it's a waiting game, but you got to think the wait is all for nothing for Super Cali.
I mean, indeed, I think she's just trying to salvage the AK from Abs, but Shiva is so aware of this. 8 health on the T side player, but I'm sure that they will try everything in their power to stop Slippers from saving that AK. I mean,
And
they're still just waiting.
Podbots at this point, they don't really care about the site. They're going for the kills. I think they realize that this game is theirs, so they just start to clear out, cover all areas. Really no need to. They are playing this so serious, and I mean, Super Cali just seemingly playing for fun right now, not really too concerned, maybe hoping to turn it around, but with the way that things are going, it's not good. The highest kill player on Super Cali, Haxton, only 6 on the board in 13 rounds. That's not the kind of KD you want to be looking at.
Indeed, it is quite rough for the counter-terrorists at the moment, and speaking of podbots, there's one very good quality of like top echelon teams. Even if they're winning by huge landslides, they still take it very seriously. And you can see it with podbots. They're taking their time with clearing out angles, they're taking the time with taking parts of the map, and they're taking it still very seriously, albeit the score is 11-1.
You have to, don't you? When you're in a match like this, things can turn so quickly in that second half, especially in a best of 3. You have to cement that win as quickly as you can, and Arctic doing everything he can to make that happen. Haxton falls. That's the first from Super Cali. It's another buy round for them, so they need to at least get some kills out of this. Going with the double AWP as well is a bold choice in setup, but it works out as Mama takes down Arctic. Frosty's there for the trade, though. Eliminates Cass. They're going to know there's another player there, but Frosty is not over-peaking at all, letting the rest of the team make the entrance on to B site. Sorry, onto A site as Frosty, there it is, with the Tech 9, finishes off. That's B site cleared, but the question becomes, do Podbots want to go, rotate, or are they expecting Super Cali to move over there like they have in previous rounds? It seems like for now, they're grabbing the bomb, and it's off to B.
I mean, they've got so much map control. Chasm does go down in the meantime, but look at that, Shiva still got long, so no rotation can really happen onto the B side. The bomb should go down very cleanly, and Podbots, well, it's a highway for round number 12 for them.
Kit Ray still watching after hearing the smoke. It looks like Super Cali expecting a push to come out. Now, Super Cali obviously having had saved a few rounds, are going to have a tricky decision to make. Do they want to push? Do they want to go for the retake? It's a 2 versus 3. You're at a player disadvantage. At the same time, the double AWP buy, it's so valuable. Having that AK in hand can be worth so much going into this next round with only a couple left. They save this one, at least they'll have something to provide, and Slippers can maybe drop something for a teammate.
Potentially they could, but the buy still feels a little bit weak. Other than Slippers, nobody else on Super Cali has any money, so they would still be on the verge of a force buy realistically. Meanwhile, Podbots, well, they're pretty much just cruising. 16k will be onto 3 of their players as Shiva. Oh, they're looking for something, and they do spot Slippers.
That's gotta suck. Slippers goes down. Super Cali obviously having to call a timeout after that one because you gotta reset. The nerves were probably through the roof on that. Not the way you want things to go. Second timeout of the game as well for Super Cali. They are really talking through everything they can to try and make this work. Thanking the fact that they have a coach, but it doesn't appear to be working out today.
It doesn't indeed. Maybe Super Cali is still a little bit shaky and nervous after their great win just an hour ago against KCL. Of course, KCL, quite a well-known team. They did manage to storm the playoffs last time around in winter 2022. But for Super Cali, I think slowly, if they aren't able to do any sort of resistance against Podbots on their CT side, it could be a matter of just thinking about Mirage already.
I think it'll have to be at this point. The amount of util coming out, though, from Podbots, it's not going to leave a huge amount left for the late game. The smoke's obviously being most important at this point. Slippers able to land a couple shots, but not converting it over to a kill, and that has actually forced Podbots back a bit. This isn't a position that Super Cali have had to deal with too much, where Podbots have been aggressed upon and they've backed away, but it looks like now they've had the chance to reset, recoup. Arctic getting ready to lead the charge onto B. That bomb is on the way, But if that player's spotted out, Super Cali are going to quickly get the read, and I'm sure reposition all of their players over in that direction. Kitray still watching all the info. As Ting finally getting ready to peek over onto Cass. Both players just jiggling their way around the corner to try and get a bit of info. They do hear Mama make the jump. That will pull Ting's attention away. But still with a player for support, should be able to at least get the trade if Ting goes down.
They should indeed. B-side is very hard to control for Super Cali as Ting gets that opener onto Marma. Arctic there to help out. B-side falls and the rotation must be very quick, or it must be a call to save, really, as Podbots with 5 players, they'll be trying to hang on to the B side for their life.
They're going for the retake, and honestly, at this point, I cannot blame them. Just get that util down. You've got so many incendiaries. Just use them to try and cause a bit of a problem, force some players out of position, because right now, it's probably the only way that they're going to be able to salvage this one. Arctic lands the headshot, but Kipray's there for the trade. Support of Ting with the team damage earlier on, but Kazam takes down Haxon with the headshot. Kipray trades it out as well. That's a 2-piece so far. Looking to get a couple more on the board, but it ain't looking too promising as he switches over to the AWP. Kazam peeks around the side. That's the end of the round, and Podbots now on 13 in the final of the half.
That is honestly insane. 11 rounds in a row for Podbots on their T side. Honestly, the retakes feel like one of the hardest ones. To retake against Podbots when majority of them is stuck inside and you don't have any util to play with, it just feels like a death sentence, honestly. But as I say, the Haxton finally, the aggression pays off. He manages to get an opening kill on Chasm. Shiva is trying to get something back, but Kipray strikes again, and it's finally an advantage for Super Cali at last.
This is what we wanted to see from Super Cali. The aggression may not have worked out earlier, but there was a whole lot too much of it. Ting manages to take down Slippers, but Marma's quickly there for the trade. It's all onto Arctic. Not really much chance of salvaging this one, especially with the bomb so far away. And every player from Super Cali trying to cover, but down goes Marma. Down goes Haxton. Another one soon to follow. That's a 3k for Arctic. And now it's down to a 1 versus 1. Cass, though, pops up, finishes the job. And in the final round of the half, able to salvage a second win. But it's not going to be easy, especially with how this is going.
Better sooner than later, they do say, as Super Cali finally, they do manage to double their rounds on the board. And, well, going into the pistol, they want to start off very strong. It has to be a pistol win, otherwise this could be a quick end to the second half on Inferno. And, well, let's see what they've got planned. It seems like a fast B.
I don't blame them, honestly. Super Cali have clearly had the upper hand when they use the aggression, but it just doesn't work out as Shiva finds a 3k Kipray there to trade 2 of them out. Frosty now playing solo on B site, but the rest of the team are already rotating. Smoke's coming out to block off CT as Kazam comes up Banana, trying to catch them in a bit of a pinch. Frosty, though, just can't land the headshots that he wanted to. Kazam manages to land 2 in a row, and it's CTs that take the win, and now are looking very good to take the game.
Shiva is purely on fire. I mean, wow, in 16 rounds, they've got 20 kills. That's more than a kill per round. Honestly, Inferno is such a good map for them, clearly, as they will buy onto an M4. Podbots, in general, they do just go full guns, blasting 3 M4s and 2 MP9s. And Super Cali, they will follow suit. The force buy is on the board. Everything thrown onto the table. It's now or never.
I like this from Podbots. They got the read onto A and tried to reposition players over there, but it just didn't work as they're all getting taken out. T-sided is the way that this map is going. It's now Podbots with only 2 players left. The Force, it's a risky play. But honestly, with the amount of rounds they have as a buffer, they should be able to grab 2 more if they play anything like the previous half. Ting lands the headshot, looking for a second. Smokes off to prevent the peak as the bomb is down. They have the info. Now it's just a case of catching Super Cali in the peak, but MP9 is not ideal, especially trying to cover that Super Cali player coming all the way round through CT. Slippers comes out on top, and it's all onto Chiva, who appears to be sneaking up behind. This could work out if they move to A, but instead they go to B, and now for the long rotation instead, and more than likely held out by multiple players watching B long.
It will be a difficult task for Shiva. Shiva has no defuse and no utility. They get 1, but Marma quickly shuts it down, and Super Cali, the Force, their fight for life on the map does manage to prove very good choice, as they do manage to get that third, and well, we've got a pause coming out.
So, not sure exactly what's happened, but hopefully we will be back into the action as soon as we can. I have to say, though, Podbots, they may have lost the momentum, but there's one round, in theory, that they need to at least hold on to it and take it back to the T side where they were so much stronger. I mean, 2 rounds is not a stretch for a team that's that dominant in the first half.
Especially on the CT side. I mean, the CT side is the much more favorable side of Inferno. I mean, some people will say T side, some people will say CT. I think it's purely to your IGL's calls and Ting. He's been stellar on the T side, so I would say Podbots, they do have advantage in that. And for Super Kali, they're just going round by round, really. You want to make sure the scoreline looks respectable, and in case you do manage to start getting any momentum, any extra momentum, when you feel like comeback is on the cards, that's when it starts to get real.
Certainly does. Right now, though, I think a comeback is all that Super Kali can hope for. I think that they're just going to be taking it round by round. Don't worry about the end game, because that's how you get distracted. That's how you get nervous. Right now, just worry about winning the round. Do that another 15 times in a row, and, well, we'll see where we stand then. Right now, Podbots wanting to slow things down, but at the same time, you've got to think the momentum worked out so well on the T side. Maybe it's just time. Hey, we've got Deagles, we've got 5-7s, let's push in, let's try and make some noise, and at least do some damage. Then, once you've got an AK or something on the board, that's when you start to carry that momentum forward.
You would assume so, but it seems like Podbots are going for a little bit of more of a passive approach. There's almost no HE grenades, just smokes and flashes, couple of Deagles, upgraded pistols. Super Kali, they've got the weapon advantage, but look at that, Podbots going with all sorts of boosts. Heavy presence towards A as well. If Super Kali were to push into the A side, especially into middle and brackets, that could be devastating, and Podbots could snatch the round back.
Arctic not watching this one either. That allows Haxton to peek out, take out Frosty. Chiva's going to be there. I doubt they'll be expecting a player in this position, especially with the way the pushes have come through. Nice flick from Chiva to take down Kitray, but Haxton immediately there for the peek to trade it out in return. Arctic still waiting as Ting lands the 1D. Down goes Mama. Smoke to follow. Looks for a second as the jump shot. Maybe enough to distract, but not enough to finish off the job. Down goes Ting. And Arctic in a 1 versus 1 with what I assume would be a good read on where this player is going to be. The smoke is up. They might end up walking right past each other. Cass is facing the wrong way, but when you land the headshot with that AK, there's nothing you can do. Super Kali getting some rounds on the board, and maybe the momentum's starting to favor them now.
That was definitely way closer than it needed to be, but Super Kali, they do manage to keep getting rounds on the board, and Podbots, yet again, they will have to be content with just pistols, not even upgraded at this point, as it's only just Ting who's really invested into a Deagle. And well, it seems like Podbots, with that push middle, they did have a plan to push it down, but that just stops Kipray and Co. They managed to scare them from this sort of a push.
Slippers with the peek, takes down Ting. The early frag coming out here for Super Kali, but deciding to slow things immediately down. Realizing that maybe they can catch Podbots off guard, and that's exactly what they do. Chiva goes for the peek, but Kitray with 2 more. Frosty comes round the side, catches Kitray off guard, but it's all for nothing when Haxton can land the kill like that. And Super Kali starting to feel a bit more confident by the looks of things.
That would have definitely been a confidence-building round for Super Kali, as the eco frags, they always feel good. They always get that confidence and blood flowing. But as Super Kali now find themselves up against an actual gun round, this is where we will see if the comeback is possible, or is it just going to be a matter of Podbots closing this out.
Podbots, the momentum works so well for them in the last half. Maybe it's time to slow things down. I say that, but Arctic spraying through a wall manages to take down Haxton. Chiva follows it up with a second. Now Podbots finally starting to turn the tide on things. Mama gonna look for the entry frag, but it ain't looking promising at all. Frosty eliminates Mama. Ting just holding on to B as the bomb is dropped on Banana. So somebody has to pick it up and commit to something, but I'd be surprised at this point if Super Cali can turn this into anything. Cass starts to play a little bit more aggressive towards A. Takes down Arctic, actually finds a tiny bit of damage through the smoke. I say tiny. Frosty taking a lot. Kazam goes down. Ting goes for the peak, but Kibre comes out on top. And well, things are all tied up again. However, the health far from favorable for Super Cali.
Amazing work so far from Kipre and Cass. They still managed to keep their side alive in this round number 20. The old duo from the Chill Blast LAN. He's striking and Kipre finishes this off.
Podbots really looked for a second like they were going to be able to... Sorry, Super Cali really looked... I think the HUD has just swapped, so it's got me a little bit confused now. But it really looked for a minute like there was going to be that 15th round that they needed to get themselves that at least draw and confirm OT if possible. But really, really impressive there from Podbots to be able to find something. Sorry, to Super Cali to be able to find something out of what was ultimately nothing with the way that round was turning.
Yes, you'd almost think that Podbots have this round in their favor. A little bit of a shaky start to that round from Super Cali. It just felt like they haven't reconsidered their strategy for it. Gave a couple of 1v1s away, but Kipra and Kaz, well, they managed to just swing the round back into their favor. Crazy 2v5 and insane teamwork from the two veterans, maybe, from the Super Cali squad.
Now, as we hit the timeout, it's maybe time for... We are hearing that there is going to be a technical pause. Hopefully, it won't take too long, but honestly, at this point, I think any excuse to get a break is what these teams need, because it has been a brutal first half, so one-sided, but somehow, you know, we haven't reached the conclusion yet with how we expected that second half to go. We really thought it'd be over in just a matter of minutes.
Yeah, the conclusion has not been reached yet. I mean, you would think that Podbots are just going to landslide this map and all that will be there for Super Cali is just that they participated on Inferno and we would just move to Mirage. But not so easy. It seems like both of the teams have some sort of a key to this T side on Inferno as the rounds just keep swinging on there. I mean, I think we've seen like 2 CT rounds in this entire Inferno matchup.
We are
or
back.
Maybe even 3.
So here we are, we're back. We'll see if maybe CT side are actually able to get some rounds. That's got to help, I guess. A little bit of damage coming out onto the teammates of Super Cali. Frosty with the Deagle going for the peaks. Can't find the tap though. At least got a little bit of info on how Super Cali are wanting to play this. Definitely more passive than we've seen in previous rounds. Frosty just jiggling around as Mama waits for another player to peek through. Still nothing. Slippers opens things up with a second. Now is the time for Super Cali to make the most out of this advantage, but Podbots are already going for the reposition. Super Cali playing slow, and they might decide to fake this, which could be to their detriment. If they give up too much time, Podbots surely start to rethink this, but no, the smokes come out. It's clean. The execute. Mama takes down Arctic, but Frosty is going to be there to land the headshot onto Slippers in return. Mama comes out, finishes off the job, and it's all onto Chiva with only 5 HP left.
The bomb should go down anytime soon. Yes, it does. And Super Cali, this should be just a formality to lock this down. Yes, indeed, Kipre will put Shiva down to sleep. And 7-14, Super Cali are stringing the rounds forward, 5 rounds in a row. And like I mentioned a couple of minutes ago, there's only been 3 CT rounds out of 21 rounds played so far. That is really low.
I think it definitely shows the playstyles of the teams, doesn't it? Where if you play ultra aggressive, you get those entry frags on the T side. There's not really much the opposing team can do to stop you. Mama going to try and get aggressive early, but Kazam appears to be waiting on the other side of this smoke for any sign of movement. Mama, though, crouches under, able to get a spot. Kazam does not. in turn, does not land any of the shots through it. Marma maybe getting ready. A little bit of a jump peek. Boost a teammate over or something. But as long as that first kill hasn't come out, it is anyone's game. As soon as that changes, though, as soon as a player falls, you've got to think the momentum starts to swing, and whichever team has the player advantage fully commits. Kazam opens up, Slippers and Marma both fall in. Haxton nearly caught with a Molotov. As Haxton, he goes for the peak, and, well, Arctic's there to shut it down. Finally, an opportunity where Podbots, they feel the game within their grasp to try and at least confirm an overtime, make sure that they don't lose this, even with the momentum that Super Cali had. But as the smoke pops up, Arctic getting ready to push straight through, and that works out perfectly. Takes down one, followed by a second. It's Cheever actually credited with the kills, and Podbots, they've got the 15th, one more to win it.
Indeed, they finally do manage to put themselves on the 15. Now 8 map point chances for Podbots. Any one of them converted will lead us to Mirage for the second map of this best of 3. And Super Cali, it's in their best interest to try and prevent Podbots from going on to 16.
Shiva getting ready with the util early, but Marma getting ready with it even faster. Actually ends up running and dying to his own Molotov as Kazam takes down Kit Ray. This is not the way that Super Cali were wanting things to go at all. It's a 1 versus 5. It would take some heroics now for Haxton to be able to make the comeback, but certainly going to try and sneak the way around, hoping to catch a couple of these players off guard, but it just isn't enough. It's Podbots who take the round and the game. In this best of 3, that first map just means so much. You do not want to be going to the third, but at the end of the day, they picked that map. Now it's time to go onto the opposing team's map choice, which is going to be Mirage in a couple of minutes.
Indeed, very good for Podbots that they did manage to find this map to an end finally. And for Super Cali, well, as we can quote from the start of that last round in Inferno, all the dreams of winning map 1 went in flames.
Absolutely, they did. We'll see if they can keep the game 2 and ultimately the match together. That'll be coming up in just about 5 minutes, so don't go anywhere. We'll be back shortly.
Transcend humanity with Omen.
What is that?
Cutting edge VR, Flynn.
It looks like it's something from the future, you know?
Flynn took a trip to future London. Saw something she wasn't supposed to. Now people from there are trying to kill us.
And welcome back, everybody, to the Amazon University Esports CSGO playoffs for the UK and Ireland. My name is Chunks, joined once again by Yuki. And that first game, it looked like it was going to be completely one-sided, but it turns out that the only thing that the sides affected was the T side, because that is where all of the rounds came from, pretty much.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, only 5 rounds have been seen won by the CT side in that entire Inferno encounter. And out of 23 played, that is a very, very low number. Honestly, Inferno, you would think it's this sort of like a 50-50 depending on the IGL calling style. And clearly, both of those teams, they do have a very aggressive style of playing as well. Like you say, the rounds just came from the T side alone.
Well, it worked over on Inferno, but the question is, will it work on Mirage for either of those teams? Before we get over to that, let's take a quick look at the bracket and give everyone an update on how the other matches are going. Right now, the other match in the upper bracket is going to be Aimbridge versus Half Natty Head Tappers, as both of those teams were able to take a game in the best of one, and now KCL Lions are looking to try and move through in the lower bracket after taking that first game against UEA.
I mean, KCL Lions, that's probably the biggest surprise out of this bracket so far. Of course, you know, losing to Super Cali. But it seems like they did manage to find their ground back against UEA Blue Jays. And hopefully, for them, they will grab a second map. But hopefully for UEA fans, Blue Jays are able to do a reverse sweep. Who knows?
We'll see. It's going to be a tricky one. You don't want to go out having not won a single map at the end of the day. It's one thing if you lose in a best of 3, are able to take a map, at least you're able to salvage something out of it. But a lot of the times it feels like if you lose... I mean, if we look at that last game that we watched, for instance, if Podbots were able to take that as cleanly as we expected, Super Cali really wouldn't have been able to make anything out of it. They couldn't have really done much in terms of prep going into the next game, other than, okay, let's try something else and see if that works. Maybe take notes from the few rounds they were able to get. But really, at this point, how are you able to transfer that over? Because Super Cali, they played well when they won the rounds, and they played extremely well when they did that. But the majority of the time, it was all Podbots.
Well, I mean, with Mirage, it's pretty much as puggy as it gets. So, I mean, strats, they will not have that much weight as they did on Inferno, because while you may think Inferno is this kind of a mixed map still, the IGL is really important for that map, because the strats can genuinely be a night and day difference between two teams. On Mirage, that does not really apply that much. It's more like a aim duel map, especially towards mid, for example. I mean, the AUE battles, where hopefully we'll see Frosty against Hexton. Well, that will be one hell of a duel towards mid. And of course, you know, the IGLs, Ting and Kaz, still, of course, they will be quite important. But this time, maybe their teammates will have a little bit more to say and sway the score in their favor with their own skills.
So, it's the choice map of Super Cali, but the problem now becomes the pressure that's mounting. If you're one of these players, I mean, sure, there's that buffer of the lower bracket. If you get knocked down today, if you lose this next map, but it's not a position that anybody wants to be in going forward, especially considering if you lose your map down there, you're in trouble. Let's hop into the second match of the evening, though. It's going to be Podbots on the CT side and Super Cali on the T side, and I'm really just interested to see how this works out here, because Podbots obviously playing so well on the T side in the past, maybe wanting to get a little bit extra aggressive compared to what you'd usually expect.
I mean, you would hope so, and you would think that they would do is, for now, it seems like they do expect some sort of a aggression coming out of Palace from Super Kali. We of course see Kezem and Tink having this little bit of a tandem work there, as Super Kali, they do execute onto A right now, and any second we should see the first bloods coming in. Tink will open us up, Marma with a quick refrag, and Kezem is able to find one with Arctic as well. 3 against 1 all of a sudden, and the only person left alive is Cass. Cass will have to pull a 1v3 out of this, and well, he's getting pushed out for now.
This is what Podbots were looking for. Super Cali unlikely to even get the bomb down at this point, so the economy is not going to be looking great going into the next round. You've got to think that Podbots are going to be very happy getting whatever they can out of this one. Cass still waiting for any sign of movement from the stairs, but not able to spot it. Shiva dodges just before the smoke dissipates. Out comes another. Cass with no line of sight, just trying his best to look underneath and spot anything. But at this point, Super Cali, the round is kind of beyond them. You've got to hope that Cass at least tries to make something out of this with only a flash that he's saving.
You should be allowed to have some sort of a say in this round. The smoke has dissipated. There is no more utility to keep him in check. But Kezem with the Dwallies, he's getting the first contact. And now Cass, he's taking his hands into the matter. Kezem goes down, but he doesn't expect Shiva. Shiva doubled up on the position, and that wins the round 1-0 for Podbots.
That's what they wanted. Can they carry the momentum in the same way as our first map? Podbots looking to clean this one up as quickly as they can if they can get momentum on their side. The MP9s coming out should be pretty good to take those close range battles. But if somehow Super Cali are able to make something out of this, that could quickly change. Kezem just watching mid, ready for the peek, and sees all of them. That'll be a good amount of info. Out goes the incendiary, blocks off short, going to prevent the push for now at least. Shiva's going to be there for it. Kezem watching tunnel. Out comes the spray, lands a bit of damage. Frag grenade to follow up as Ting takes down Haxton. Slippers trades it, but Shiva immediately there to finish off Kit Ray. Mama goes down, and Super Cali losing the momentum yet again. Frosty, now's the time to push the jump shot onto Kaz. It's a 1 versus 4, and ultimately we know how that's going to go. Arctic comes out on top. That's Podbot's second round in a row. Looking to start stacking up some more quickly.
The cavalry of MP9s does manage to farm a little bit of extra cash on Super Cali players. Of course, that was just a pistol round from Super Cali yet again. Now they're going to be able to find themselves on the full equipment. The AKs come in full swing. Utility is there. And Podbots, well, they will be hoping to convert this bonus round. But look at that. The mid aggression is coming in.
Ting ready. If it was only a second earlier, would have had line of sight onto the player behind the smoke. Chasm throws out a flash. It's not going to connect. Decides to back off instead. So it seems like Podbots have a read that this is going to be a B execute sooner or later. Super Cali starting to rethink things as decide where exactly they want to play this. Sending a player all the way around the back just to cover, maybe throw out some smokes. Window is covered. Now the question becomes, how does Super Cali decide to play this? I think Podbot's probably asking the same.
Yes, both of the teams are trying to figure out what is the strategy going forward. I mean, we can see a little bit of a stack coming from Podbots. There is Frosty on a very interesting position as Chasm does manage to find one, but Kipray with a quick response, and it seems like Super Cali will be defaulting to B. This is a really bad choice. Frosty with a great position, he strikes! Gets one, and Kaz is now dumbfounded. He needs to get the refrag quick, but the refrag has not commenced.
The bomb's down, but Kaz there to take down Ting with it. Now, it's a case of getting up there, trying to get it back, and, well, I don't expect Frosty to make a move out of this position anytime soon. Marma goes to the peak, at least has the info onto Arctic. Now is the opportunity for Podbots to catch the pinch, and it works out beautifully. 3 rounds in a row. We thought the T side was where Podbots shine, but it turns out that CT on Mirage is starting to favor them.
I mean, the proactive play from Frosty and Tink, getting that sort of tandem going on B. Of course, Frosty with a very hidden position, he managed to get those 2 kills in full effect, and that has helped. And now Super Cali, well, it seems like one of the faster rounds, just pistols, and the Palace dive is coming in.
The nades come out, and Super Cali, well, they start to go down. Haxon, though, tries to change the trajectory of the fight, taking it down 1 in return. But as Kip eliminated by the nade, Haxton looks to follow with another. Kaz just waiting now. Saxon looks over towards the tunnel, goes the spray through the wood, lands it. Now Super Cali actually starting to turn things around. They have at least the site under control. They haven't had a chance to get the bomb down yet as Frosty goes to the peak. Will be able to get the read onto Haxton. Kazam finishes off the job, and 4 to Podbots just as Super Cali started to regain control. The bomb just too far away though.
Great efforts from Haxton. They're trying to swing the round into favor of Super Cali on just some deagles and upgraded pistols, but it's not meant to be. Podbot's 4th round in a row, and the momentum is swinging. This could make a deja vu of Inferno if Super Cali are not quick to respond.
Haxton looking out down the middle, ready for a peek as Cass and Slippers taking down a player apiece. So Super Cali, look, they had the momentum last round. They look to follow through a little bit further than they did previously. Shiva throws out a flash, maybe expecting a push to come through, but nothing as Arctic moving through Palace. This could be a great way to try and catch Super Cali off guard. The way that he's moving, he's probably going to come out behind him. He hears the footsteps. Now everybody from Podbot starts to reposition, but it's just too late. They're leaving Shiva behind, and it might just be a little bit too late if Ting isn't able to make something happen here. In come the shots. Arctic needs to go for the peak as the bomb goes down. Tries to deny the plant. Doesn't work out. Flashbang lands beautifully. Slippers eliminates Arctic, but Ting going to be there with the AWP to try and finish off the job. Slippers eliminates Shiva after getting a kill. Now Ting waiting for the peak. It's a 1 versus 2. The AWP is kind of the perfect weapon in this scenario, as long as those shots land, but right now it isn't looking likely. And Ting starting to back away slowly.
Ting will have to be content with a save here. It just looks like Slippers' amazing heroics in this round number 5 to finally provide a point for Super Cali. And it seems like Super Cali will be able to get a nice investment coming into the next round. The economy should not be a problem, albeit maybe there will be a little bit of problems with the utility, but Podbots as well. Look at that. They've won 4 rounds in a row, and suddenly the money is not there.
That's what happens when you commit to the buy after a pretty scrappy round before that. They're able to force something out of it, at least getting armor, but the helmet's missing for a couple of players. The AWP's still in hand, though. It can be so important when it comes to turning the tide of a round. But, well, Kazam, he's the player down middle this time and finds that opening kill. Arctic just going to wait. Slippers gets ready to peek out. She wants to try and find this kill, at least even things up, but it's not going to work out. Arctic takes her down with a headshot, and now momentum slowly leaning towards Podbots again.
Indeed, Super Cali, unfortunate 2 1v1s given on middle. Podbots were able to isolate that very, very nicely. And now, well, it's just the matter of clearing angles for Super Cali, and Podbots, they're not going to make it easy for them. Frosty is, of course, in the sandwich position. Shiva under wood, and that's going to be very difficult to clear for Super Cali.
Cass has been able to take down Arctic. Now they have the read onto Shiva, but they weren't expecting Frosty there for the trade. Eliminates one, goes for a second, but caught with a headshot. Down goes Frosty as Kazam and Ting finally standing. Ting with the AWP just watching from market, looking through that metal grate for any side of movement. Kazam needs to go for the peak. Tries to land the spray to deny the plant, but it just doesn't work out, and all that's succeeded in doing is giving away the position. It's a 2 versus 2. Orp, AR versus same on the opposing team. Kitray goes the shot, isn't able to land it, but the same being said, the job isn't finished. Kitray goes down. It's Cass in a 1 versus 2. Gets ready for the Y peak. Smoke is down. Makes the defuse. Time for the spray. Cass has given away the position. And now Ting just going to hold that angle with the AWP. Cleans it up and makes it a 5th round on the board for Podbot. Should help out their economy drastically.
Indeed it should. Podbots with a great control right at the end. It felt like they were in much of an advantage to begin, then Super Cali struck back, and Podbots were just able to push it back into the favor in the end. But Super Cali still on the buy, still will be able to have some sort of a response, and Podbots, they're not in the clear yet. Their money is not looking that great. They did manage to buy, but look at that MP9 on Arctic. They had to compromise that way.
Super Cali right now in a very tricky position. This is their last chance at keeping that economy, as it were. Mama gets the opening kill. But how much is it going to be worth as Podbots play a little bit slower? Cass is able to spot out another. Every kill becoming more and more valuable as the smokes pop. It's an AWP still ready to watch that site though, and as Cass goes for the peek, the shot is whiffed. Unfortunately, 3 players peeking at once, and there's just nothing you can do against that with an AWP. Kazam able to trade it though, and that denies the rifle from the other squad. It's a bit of a waiting game as he gets ready for the peek. It looks like it's going to be a full send. Mama goes down, tries to pick up the AWP, doesn't work out. AK in hand now, Kazam for the smoke, and it looks like Podbots are at the retake here, even with the duo remaining. Kazam with big damage, but can't find the final kill. Incendiary needs to come out quick to finish the job, but it just isn't enough. Haxton gets the kill, but guys to the Incendiary immediately after. 5-2 to Podbots.
This seems like a two-way stranglehold on both of the economies. Neither of the sides is really able to run away and start harvesting the extra cash for future rounds. As Super Kali, they do have to take that tactical timeout. They need to reconsider their choices. They will be able to buy fully, but against Podbots and their eco, it's just a matter of trying to make sure they will come out with as many guns as possible. Ideally, you want to have 5 players survive at this end, but Super Kali, it seems like they have also found the key to success against Podbots' defaults, as the rounds do happen to finally start stringing themselves much earlier than on Inferno.
So, 20 seconds to the round starts as the timeout ticks away. Hoping to start shift that Super Kali were looking for. It's definitely a little bit closer than our previous map. We got to give it that. The question is, can it stay that way? Can Super Kali close up the distance, or can Podbots start to take charge again? Next round getting ready to begin. It's going to be a bit of a sticky situation here for Podbots in terms of their economy.
Yes, indeed, and it seems like the situation is quite sticky for Super Kali as well, as that's 3rd tactical timeout used in a row, in a single round. I mean, it feels like they really want to make sure their game plan is on point. They're probably having extra discussions with James, their coach, right now, and they want to make sure everything is pristine. There is no leaks that Podbots could abuse right now, as Podbots, they did decide to go for a force buy, actually, so in case that they lose this round, we could see 5-4 on the scoreline very quickly.
That is where Super Kali wanting to take it. They want to thrive off of that close round difference. Another timeout coming in. Super Kali really wanting to make sure they have this strategy flushed out now, because the way that things went in our previous map, once they lose one, they lose 2, and then it's just a slippery slope from there. So doing everything they can to hold on. I also want to apologize as well. It turns out I've been pronouncing Cheva's name incorrectly. It's pronounced that way. I've been saying Chiva, so apologies if I have annoyed anyone, like chat seems to be saying.
Same here. I think I might have called them Chiva quite often, but it's Cheva. Cheva, right?
Cheva. That's what chat is saying, so I'm going to go with it, but knowing chat, it's wrong. Anyway, round is back on. Super Kali looking to make this a very aggressive one. Lots of util coming off the back. Ting going to be looking over towards ramp. Spots a little bit of movement, maybe, but not able to land the shot. It looks like it's actually going to be a push coming out here from Podbots as Ting lands the headshot, but only to trade onto Slippers. Still another player looking there in the off angle as Kazam tries to land something with the 5-7, but the AK just too strong at that kind of range. The same can't be said, though, for the Deagle, as Ting and Frosty each pick up a kill apiece. Haxton looking to follow it up further, knows exactly where the player is, but hasn't been able to land the shots. It's now Podbots. The slight advantage, but barely holding on to it.
They're barely holding on to this advantage right now, as Tink, his heroics are almost getting the round for Podbots as he's finally put down by Haxton. And it's just going to have to be Cheva against Kipre and Haxton with the gun advantage on the side of Super Kali. The bomb should go down towards A, but that's where Cheva is. A little bit of tag damage, and the chances are falling down ever so slightly.
Cheva just sneaking around the edge of the smoke. The flash might have worked. All it's really done now is forced Kipray all the way round with the bomb in hand. Trevor going to try and make the move, but footsteps have been heard. Haxton going to be calling that one out as he realizes that player is going under. It's going to be a pretty free kill. Super Cali, 3 rounds on the board, starting to turn the tide and going to get a little bit of an economy boost from the bomb plan.
Indeed they will, but albeit this round was much closer than needed in reality, they still will have a little bit of extra money from it. 2 guns saved, and Podbots are facing an eco. But Super Cali, they need to start establishing their dominance in those kind of eco and force buy rounds, as they can't make it that close for Podbots.
Podbots now need to try and make something out of this to keep that buffer as it was. As of right now, at least. Being able to eco. Maybe content with giving Super Cali another round as a chance to reset. Trevor, though, there with the headshot. Almost manages to land a second, but Ting and Kazam working together to trade it out. They might be losing players, but for an eco round, they got a couple of kills on the board and did a lot of damage to Super Cali. Things getting closer to being tied up, but it should be Podbot's opportunity to buy now.
Indeed, indeed, Podbots will be finding themselves on a buy, finally, after those 2 rounds where they had a very much disadvantage in terms of the equipment. Super Cali, though, maybe this is finally the time where they do build their economy and momentum at the same time. I mean, 5-4 is already much closer than we've ever been on Inferno.
Flashbang lands. Haxton just waiting to throw out that smoke instead. No point wasting it as Flashed and can't peek now. Getting proactive with things. Holding the edge, but nobody wanting to push short. Those shots, however, will give a lot away. Out comes the Molotov. Sheva not going to be able to cover that position anymore. A player drops down and lands their headshot. Marmot gets it, but traded out immediately. Ting able to pick up the kill there as now Ting swings out right, not able to find another. Slippers the elimination, and it's all on to Kezem. After that buy, it might be an opportunity to just save that M4, hope for the best. Reset once things are all tied up, but Super Cali, we saw what they could do with the momentum over on Inferno a minute ago.
Indeed, they will be thriving right now, and also, this is not the better side of Mirage. I mean, Podbots, they had the choice whether it was CT or T, as it is a pick from Super Cali, and they did choose CT. So for Super Cali to start stringing this many rounds on the T side, this could turn really nasty in the second half for Podbots, and before we know, we could see ourselves on the 3rd map, but maybe that's just wishful thinking, I don't know.
We will see. I mean, it's certainly a close one as of now. I think nobody could have predicted this to be as close if you just looked at our last game as a sample size, but I guess it goes to show just how strong Podbots were in terms of the decision to make the pick they did to go to Inferno, and how Super Cali being able to salvage something out of Mirage. We'll see if it goes the distance, but as of now, it's going to be down to the wire regardless of the result.
Indeed, but Chasm still could make a difference in this round. Frosty as well is gonna join him with that Nova. That's an interesting buy. As Super Cali, they're not wasting any time. They're pushing onto A, and Marma opens up at Arctic with a quick refrag. And it's a 4v4, but the side is probably going to stand, actually. Super Cali, they're waiting it out, and Kipray does fall to Chasm.
Chasm gonna be very happy about finding that kill. Much needed, given the current situation for Podbots, having that lead slowly start to slip away. Arctic getting ready for the peak, wanting to leave it a little bit, but if he leaves it too long, he's just going to get pre-fired through the wall, and Haxton there to finish off the job, even after Cass had fallen. Frosty with the deagle tries to finish the job, but fortunately just prioritizes the wrong player, and Haxton able to find both kills. Super Cali, they've turned it around, and now they've taken the lead.
It's very good for Super Cali. Haxton with very important quick tree frag on that A site, and now Podbots, they're reaching to their bank again. It is going to be a full buy coming out, and Chasm on the big green actually, while Super Cali, I haven't seen them use the knob in a while. They seem very comfortable on the guns.
I mean, it's working so far. Why would you spend the economy if you don't need it? Especially when you can land shots like that. Kitray, straight to the head of Kazam. No chance to respond. Ting gonna look to try to, but still not able to. The AWP has been picked up without having to invest anything. It's Kitray looking about. It's only Cheva looking on short, ready to try and defend against the push, but as the Molotov lands on him, it looks like it's gonna be A. As everyone tries to reposition yet again. Arctic currently the only player there to prevent a push, but as the smoke comes out, the spray does as well. That's only succeeded in giving away his position.
And the A side will fall as a result, but Frosty with a very interesting flank. He might be able to catch the bomb off guard here, and he will. Cass falls. Slippers though, she will trade it, but Arctic gets one piece of his own, and they do rotate towards B right now very quickly.
Cheva really looking to turn things around as Kitray finds the two-piece. And well, Super Cali, they took the momentum, and now they are just rolling with the flow. Podbots look so strong to start things out with that round buffer, but Super Cali have turned it around, and they are looking to turn the whole series around, take it to that third map. Finish the job then, but maybe we're getting ahead of ourselves. Still have their whole CT side ahead of them.
Indeed, Super Cali, I mean, it's looking very good for them, but Arctic, wow, what a headshot onto Haxton. And all of a sudden, Podbots are the ones to have their first ward set in round number 13 on just the Eagles.
Cheva just going to be waiting as Mama takes down Frosty. Ting's there for the trade, and well, now the player advantage goes the way of Podbots, and it could be time to finally shut down that momentum. Mama tries to move around the back. Tapping away with the AK is now realizing B is completely under control of the T side. Super Cali going to work their way around, but Cheva needs to do something to try and prevent this push from coming out. Arctic working through CT, ready to push through the smoke alongside Ting, but they want to do this as a unit. It is not the time you want to be pushing through as individuals. You need to get those trades. Use that player advantage to its fullest. Try and just get those trades, and eventually, in theory, you should be coming out on top. Flash comes out as Kezem finishes off Mama. It's a 4 versus 2. That player advantage being used wisely. Cass going to try and peek out, able to find the headshot. Kezem needs to be there for the trade, but not able to. Slippers eliminates Ting as well, and it's all on to Cheva. Well, that's things over for them. Super Cali, it looked like the round was over, but certainly not.
I mean, Cousin Slippers pulling that one back very quickly. It looked very dire on the retake 4v2 in favor of Podbots, and quickly they just got shot down instantly on that attempt, as now they will take the tactical timeout. They need to reconsider some things. I mean, this looks like a weird buy, but then again, it doesn't. As I see Arctic, Cheva, actually, they've already bought before I checked, and well, they will have full guns, full utility, but some rounds would be very nice for Podbots, as being stuck on 5 and going to the T side, that's not looking really good, if you ask me.
Really, not at all. But Podbots, I mean, we saw what they were able to do last game. Maybe the aggression, being the aggressor, is where they tend to shine. Only find out in a couple of rounds, though. It's all of the util being used. Cheva pushes up, caught with the headshot. Haxton finds a second as well. Arctic flashing both teammates. Both going to be pretty annoyed about the way they went down. Kitray goes for the spin, but Kezem's there to turn it around. So's Arctic as well, so things started to get tied up. Incendiary goes down. Only one player on B site. It's going to open up a great position for Super Cali if they're able to move through a little bit faster, take advantage. It looks like, though, Podbots are ready for it as they send a second over in that direction. It looks like B is where things are going to be ending this round.
B is where it will end indeed. At Frosty, he's ready, but Kezem will be the one to strike and get the quick 2k shut down the whole B onslaught from Super Cali. Podbots finally get their 6th.
And they needed it. Closing that distance again. Maybe it's time for Podbots to flip the switch. It's the final round of the half, though, so they got to make it count for something. And if Super Cali can grab that lead, it puts Podbots in a bit of a precarious position going on to that T side, especially considering this is Super Cali's pick. Haxton gets an early AWP. as Chasm goes down. Not the way that Podbots wanted to start this round after such a successful previous one, but Frosty trades it. Now we're back to a level playing field.
Indeed, but the mid control has been lost. Podbots are only towards A and B side, really. Slippers, she's been given a lot of control in mid, a lot of freedom actually. Cheva is in ladder, but it doesn't seem like he wants to contest this sort of control at all. As Super Kali, the smokes are landing on A. It seems that's where they want to finish. Arctic and Ting, they'll have to say things about this, otherwise 6-9 will be the scoreline.
Arctic just about able to survive. This could be huge right now. Nobody appears to notice. Cass didn't even, but fortunately Arctic not quite able to land the spray. Kipray eliminates Ting as well, as now Frosty tries to go for the peak. It doesn't work out. It's all on to Cheva. It's the final round and a half. There's no point saving. May as well go for a couple of kills, try and get the retake, but Slipper's going to be there for it. She finishes off with the headshot. Super Kali taking this half. It's not the way that Podbots wanted things to go after last game. Really expecting to be able to take this with relative ease.
Indeed they were, but Super Kali, they've decided to say a couple of things about it, and things they did, as 9-6 is in their favor, and they're going to their stronger side right now, CT side of Mirage. They will need this pistol to continue the momentum, but whether they will get it, well, Podbots, they want to show that they will not on the A side.
I really was about to say, I'm not going to put it past Podbots to completely rush onto A right now, and that's exactly what they're doing. Super Kali definitely trying to play the CT side a bit more methodical, but it's not working out as Kazam takes down Haxton. Cass is going to be looking for another as the bomb goes down. As soon as Cheva peeks out, the shot's going to be coming through, but unfortunately not able to land any to the head, which is where it all matters right now. Marma causing a distraction round the back as Cheva tries to cover, lands a headshot. Kitray able to trade it though. Marma comes round the back, and this could be a huge opportunity for Super Kali now as they try to go for the defuse. Not going to actually stick it. Slippers caught with a headshot. Marma trades it onto Ting, but now it's Arctic and Frosty in a 2 versus 2. Down goes one, down goes the second, and Super Kali, they take the site. They go for the defuse and should be able to pull it off, take that round, and potentially take it the distance.
Oh, they don't?
No, what? What? There mustn't have been a kit there. That was close, though.
That was really close, and I was just about to say, while the execution of Ting's idea onto A coming out without any sort of utility was crazy. I mean, it just pays off. Somehow it does pay off, and Podbots, they see themselves on 7. Super Kali, they will just have to go with that lone SSG 08 on Marma, and well, Podbots in prime position to make this equal in very short distance.
Already, player going under, looking out for in Haxter's direction. Armor ready to peek from short, looking out down mid, but Kitray is the one who's able to find the headshot instead. Super Kali looking to take this a little bit further, but with Podbots having the weaponry, ultimately having the advantage to start off the round, unless they can finish off Slippers, don't have that player advantage to work with. Frosty playing slow and under, as it looks like Podbots completely switching up from that round 1 playstyle.
Oh, and Kaz, look at that position. He manages to catch Ting. The kill does not come through, but Ting, so little health left on the T. As the A push does come in, but Haxton still leading the tracks, and Chasm, he just gets deleted by the deagle of Haxton. 3v5, 2v5, Haxton doesn't keep stopping, and Ting falls as well. Frosty, the only person who can say anything about this. And he'll find Marma, but still 3 more cities to find.
It's going to be a tricky round to win. Frosty is able to do it, especially on 1 HP. It's got to be 1 tap central right now. Bombs down. It could really be the perfect opportunity for Frosty to try and get away, and that's exactly what he'll do. Gets the distance, and now for the next 15 seconds, it's going to be a case of try and hide. I think Super Kali pretty happy with that. They want to try and peek out, but at the same time, not wanting to sacrifice any of the util they've been able to gain, even if it is only a couple of Galils.
I mean, the anti-eco works very well for Super Kali. They find themselves on double digits. Some heroics were needed from Haxton, for example, the Deagle, but nevertheless, Super Kali will be quite happy with getting this round, and Podbots now, well, they will find themselves on just a hero rifle and a couple of force buy investments in round number 18.
Frosty getting ready to sneak through Palace. It looks like Podbots getting ready for a pretty standard execute over towards A. They are committing a lot of players onto this position, and I mean, with an eco round like this, you don't really have much choice. Ting does get caught with a little bit of damage, but does have the armor helmet to prevent it. Arctic taken down low as well. The HE grenade. As well, Podbots, it looked like they were going to try and rush in instead, slowing it right down, waiting for that player to come underneath as Cass is ready for it. Looking for the peak. Who will land the kill, though? It's going to be Cass, and well, that makes things difficult for Podbots. They use it to their advantage, though, try to push out into the open, but it is just not happening. Kipray takes down one, Cass with two, and Axton finishes off the job. Super Cali with another round, and this third map is looking more and more likely.
It is on the horizon and it's just creeping up ever so slightly. Podbots, they won't be even able to get any sort of buy going. It will be just 5 Glocks coming down into what seems like mid and B initially.
Axton getting ready, not wanting to give too much away, but still wanting to get proactive in terms of the information gathered. However, for now, Podbots on an eco, not really going to be looking to make too much out of it. They're going for a run boost or something? They are. So that's an interesting way to peek. They're clearing down the middle. Cass is going to have the info, though. Without any armor or anything, if Cass peeks out, it's all over. Haxton eliminates one, Mama with the second, and it's over just like that. Super Cali are really taking charge of this over on the CT side. Well, Podbots, they relied on their aggression early on. Now it's starting to fall apart. They have a tough decision to make now that they've forced a buy.
I mean, this is really good for CTs. So far, in cruise mode control almost, you could say. The money is flowing, the guns have no need to be rebought, and Podbots are left scratching their heads. I mean, they're trying this aggressive mid control, but Super Cali have found an answer to it every round so far.
Cass, ready for the peek from Cheddar. Nothing just yet. Waiting for a sign of movement, sign of life. Not able to spot anything. Underhand smoke comes through, blocking off the tunnel. Kipray going to be waiting there. Unexpected maybe for Podbots. Seems like that's what Super Cali are going for. Podbots, though, as they peek, Cass gets the kill. Trevor goes down, and now the player advantage in the favor of Super Cali. The bomb still almost undecided as to where it's going to go. It looks like it's going to be an A execute. Frosty makes the noise to take down Cass, ties things up. As Mama covers the tunnel, realizing nobody's peeked, maybe it's time to rethink exactly where these players are coming from. As Arctic takes down Mama, now is the time for the tease to peek. It's going to be tricky. The AWP, not really with a great line of sight just yet. Kipray lets the player go past. They know it's going to be an A execute. As Frosty falls, Haxton has to back off, and now maybe Podbots can get a plant down.
This is one of the more important rounds for Podbots, as Kipray doesn't stop and he keeps taking players from T's down. Arctic falls. And now Chasm, he's aware that Kipray is close, but Kipray will continue, and one more, but Ting puts him down to sleep. 1 against 2, 2 players are coming from CT, so Ting could have a quick 2k here. He finds Haxton, and he's just on Slippers. Yes, they can finally finish and put down Ting to sleep. 13th round will be found, but oh boy, that was close.
It looked for a second then like Podbots were going to be able to turn it around and make that clutch, but Slippers just comes out too strong. Finishes off the job, 13-7. Not a scoreline that we probably expected when we looked at that last game, but I'll tell you what, I am on the edge of my seat waiting to see whether Super Cali can make this comeback work. It looks like now Podbots, they're going to commit over towards B, maybe go under, but at least for now there's going to be a lot of noise, and Super Cali should respond accordingly, sending a couple players round.
A nice tweak to their defaults. Usually it's been that aggressive middle stance, but now that stance has shifted towards B, and Slippers, she will be tested quite heavily, and Frosty just takes her head off. 5v4 and the entry has been found on B. The bomb should get planted anytime soon, and Super Cali, 30 seconds into the round, they're already forced to a retake or a save.
This is amazing from Podbots. This is what I meant when I said they shine on the aggression. When they can catch Super Cali off guard, they completely thrive off of it. Now it's just a case of holding on. Oh, we saw how much Super Cali really thrive on their CT and how Podbots really did not on theirs. Can they hold the zone? Well, it certainly appears to be going that way. 2 more players fall as Frosty moves through the market. Pre-fires onto the smoke to try and catch anything. Trevor watching. I think Super Cali pretty happy with saving this round. I don't think they're too concerned about the retake. They've got a round buffer. Keep the AWP. Should be looking good going into the next one.
They should be indeed. The round differential is in their favor. I mean, 5 rounds difference is quite comfortable for the CT side. The money is still there. They don't really have a lot of worries. Meanwhile, for Podbots, they're still always chasing that scoreline at the end of the day. And they do take the tactical time, and they do want to rethink their options. I mean, you've tested mid quite often. Now you've swapped off to B and pretty much locked down the round within the first 30 seconds after just 1 kill. Do you continue going with the same plan? Or do you shift back to the good old default? That's the question they've got in front of them right now, basically.
And the bigger question for Super Cali is, how do we defend against it? Look, we know that we have a crack in our armor, so do we go and repair it and potentially open up another one in a different location, or do we stick to what we know and just hope that now that we're prepared for it, we can maybe read it a little better? It looks like this time they're going to send 2 players over to A, and that could be to their detriment. But as Kipray comes around, the util will be coming out. It'll give him a good read. Paxton just waiting now. In comes the push. Jumping right off the balcony. Chever going to be able to trade it, but Haxton finishes off the job. No scope attempt comes out from Kipray. But Frosty there to finish off the job onto Haxton now. As the incendiary goes down, Ting is forced back off the site. Going to go for the plant a second time now. As Mama gets ready, the CT is going to have heard this through the smoke spray. Comes out, can't connect. As the site appears to be relatively held down. HE grenade does a little bit of damage. Slippers takes down Frosty as Mama tries to lead the way in. It's not going to be enough, and Podbots, they get another round, and maybe, just maybe, they can start carrying that momentum forward again.
The light still shines in the tunnel for Podbots as Super Cali, yet another crack is showing in their armor, like you said. First, the B fall in like 30 seconds, and now the same happens on A, almost a mirror exactly, as literally within the first 30 seconds, the Ts are able to overwhelm the CTs on the side and secure a bomb plant. But now Podbots, another tempo shift, and they will be just doing a very slow default this time against just a couple of deagles from Super Cali.
But Podbots, they're a team that so far have shined on momentum. Now slowing it down. Maybe expecting Super Cali, since they know that Super Cali are on a bit of an eco, to try and push something, to rush something. It just isn't happening, though. Looks like a bit of util going to come out towards A as a fake, but nobody wanted to push anything. Podbots don't want to send anyone out to B till that bomb is firmly on its way, which it appears to be. Frosty, though, do you really want to be entry fragging with an AWP onto a position like this? The deagle's holding. Got to think that Frosty, this is going to be a hard one to spot.
It is a very tough position. Slippers, she could get rewarded with at least 1 kill here as Podbots, they decide to trigger now. Shot has been missed. Ts are starting to float on the side, but Slippers still alive and still kicking. Cheva finally putting her to sleep, and the side is lost yet again. And Podbots should be able to secure double digits with this one.
So the bomb was down, it was wide open as it tries to get planted. Haxton lands headshot. Arctic returns the favor, though, as Cass and Kipray working together to take down a player apiece. Haxton now with the AWP in hand, going to get ready to go for the peak. It is a 1 versus 2, but Podbots still have the plan. Haxton seemingly a little bit nervous about the way he's peeking, but confident in the ability of his shots. The incendiary goes down. Will deny the defuse for a little bit longer. Never mind. Out on the edge. Kipray's there for it. That should put the round in Super Cali's favor, getting them so much closer to the map win. And if they play their cards right, that third map that they are hoping for so desperately.
And Podbots, another tactical timeout has been triggered by that. You could almost feel like Podbots were already sure the round is theirs, and then Super Cali striking right back in and getting the 14th on the board. I mean, that must feel good for the CTs. They're just 2 rounds away from forcing us onto the decider, and Podbots, they need to probably go back to those aggressive stances, those fast pushes onto the sides, as that proved to be quite deadly against the CT side.
So, as we slow things down for a second, teams will have an opportunity to talk about what to do going forward for Podbots. I think they're realizing it's starting to become a little bit more difficult than expected. Still, though, with that third map on the cards, Podbots know that they have plenty of opportunities to reset, take that win, even if it isn't under the most ideal circumstances. Super Cali just looking for that one more round now to at least keep them in it. If they can hold on to that, then the Podbots comeback will at least be delayed, even if they manage to get a few rounds in a row. It'll take it to overtime. Arctic waiting as Podbots are slowing it down significantly now. Super Cali with just a really good read on how Podbots are going to be playing this and seemingly responding well to the slower playstyle, however burning a lot of utility to do so.
And look at that, Super Cali, they did start rotating, but actually they do not buy into this. And Podbots, oh, they're playing such a mind game here. They faked A only to go back into the said bomb site just a couple of seconds later. Super Cali, oh, there's no way that they expect this, and this will be a big favor for Podbots. Potentially the site could be theirs within just a couple of quick trades.
It's the uncertainty, though, and that's what kept Super Cali on their toes. Now that they've heard the util usage come out, it's the perfect opportunity to try and reposition. Haxton able to take down one in the trade, but falling to the incendiary immediately after. Cass able to fire one through the smoke as well. Lands the headshot as the bomb does go down. Frosty going to be watching it with the AWP. If only he had shot through the smoke, would have been able to find a kill then, but not to be. Now forced to back away. The mollies come down and it's causing real problems. Chasm falls. It's all on to Ting as the final remaining player. Does land a headshot, though. Looking to land a second. Doesn't spot the cross. And Slipper's there to finish up the job. She's going to defuse it. Confirm Super Cali at least another lifeline to keep it alive. One more round in their favor. Well, they take it and take it all the way to a third map.
Yet again, Slippers and her final kill is the thing that pushes the round in favor of Super Cali. I mean, Podbots, it's now or never. The knife is on the throat in terms of map number 2, and they have to find 6 rounds in a row. The first one, they'll be on full weapons, albeit one Galil actually on Cheva. Cheva's been a little bit absent on this map so far. Maybe it's now the time where they could strike and potentially bring Podbots some late game momentum.
The mid-aggression coming out strong from Podbots. They've committed so much utility, really gained so little control, so little info. What have they gotten out of this round so far? It seems like nothing, and on the side of Super Cali, they've got a whole lot. Kitray is going to hear the footsteps. They know there's going to be an AWP there as Kazam gets taken down. The bomb immediately picked up. Kitray drops down, thinking they'd all pass, but it's not to be as Arctic trades it out. Frosty and Chev are working together to clear out the site as well, and now they have control. They've got to get the bomb plant down with only one opposing player remaining, but it's going to be Haxton. We've seen what he's capable of so far this evening.
And if Haxton manages to get this 1v2 clutch, this would be the final nail in the coffin against Podbots, and we would be on map 3. He's got the good start to it. Frosty falls down, but Arctic on bench. This is the 1v1. Battle of nerves, and Arctic, the mist spray, that could be devastating, but the flash swing helps, and Arctic is finally putting this round to sleep. Podbots on double digits. We are still not over on this map yet.
They have to make this count. There is not a single round they can drop if they want to take the clean sweep. Otherwise, it goes to a third map, which neither of these teams ultimately wanted to end up on. They didn't get to pick it. It was just which one they hated least out of the remainders. Well, now it's time to see just how strong Super Cali feel about their Mirage game and being the ones to pick it. Armor clearly showing confidence with the way pushing through. Ready to hold Palace, but still no movement, and that could be Kazam's opportunity to peek, find a kill. Now they'll know at least something's going on at A. Kaz ready for the peek, though, lands a couple of shots, and the stray bullet lands to the head. Kazam goes down. Well, it's tied things up. Frosty takes the advantage, but Arctic taking some serious damage in return.
Indeed, but Super Cali, the force buy could not pay off. It seems like Cass is the only person left on the A side, but look at that. Podbots are actually making the call to go towards B. And Slippers, the position is so proactive from her. She could find Arctic any second now. And Arctic, oh, he manages to escape that. That felt like an almost certain death. But no, Podbots will have the 2-man advantage, and Haxton, the only person that can stop the B push from happening.
They knew it was coming, though. They saw the bomb down, so they'll have a good idea of where it's going. Ting lands the headshot. Haxton falls as Cass, the final remaining player. Quite a ways to go, and I'm not sure how likely it's looking that the defuse, sorry, actually comes out. Cass just going to wait, 7 HP. Super Cali happy to let this round go, because they're confident they can clean it up in the next.
Confident they are, but Frosty is not content with sitting around yet. It seems like there was a little bit of an attempt going towards trying and find Kaz, but Kaz seems like he will just about scrape with the gun into the next round. But still, finally finding the footing. It's better late than never, but is it too late? Or is it just the right time for Podbots? Well, only the last 4 rounds in this half could tell us, but Super Cali, they will be quite eager to close this out and take us to the decider.
The economy, not looking the best, if I'm honest, for Super Cali, but I don't think that's going to be too much of a concern with an AK in tow. Buying a Zeus, well, that's got to stand for something now. As Podbots working their way through. Armor getting ready to take control of that tunnel. Cover mid. It looks like Haxton, though. He's going to lead the charge. Kesem is going to hear this, though. Should be calling it out to the rest of the team. So this should be the perfect opportunity for them to push all the way over to B. But the bomb is down, and Super Cali are ready for it. Unfortunately, though, Arctic and Frosty, well, they come out on top.
And Haxton, he's a little bit late to the party. He still expects that A could be the hit. Marma pushing in, and now the ball has dropped. The T's will start rolling into B. And, well, it's just a matter of Haxton and Cass. Can they do anything about this, or is this just going to be yet another save from Super Cali?
Looks like, at least for now, Cass is waiting there. Lands a little bit of damage, but nothing too significant. Gonna be back in away now. Fade comes up over the top. Should be able to land, but to what result? Haxton gonna try and maybe make a retake here as the bomb goes down, AK in hand. If there's a player to do it, you gotta think it's him with the way that he's been performing tonight. Extremely impressive, sorry. Cass with 1, Haxton 5 second. Well, things are really starting to change now. Arctic needs to get this kill. Just about able to, but Haxton's already on site. Might be able to get the defuse before this is even over. Instead, though, Molotov comes out. Haxton going to take a little bit of damage, but it's just not enough to finish off the job. So now he gets away. Podbots get another round on the board, and it's starting to get extremely close. If they can take it to overtime, they can take not only the map, but also the game.
That could have cost Podbots so dearly. I know that they wanted to chase the final 2 players of their equipment, but they've lost all guns in response. And now their utility will be lacking quite badly. Like, I mean, Ting, look, after 5 seconds, he's only left with a flash. Same on Cheva almost, albeit another smoke to their use, which they just put down. And Podbots, if this is not looking like a fast A yet again, then I'm not sure what it is.
Paxton ready. Looked for a second like he was going to take a shot through the smoke. If he had, would have been greatly rewarded. Kesem Moving round the back to CT spawn to take down one, and Arctic's there for the second after the trade. Slippers, though, well, she keeps hopes alive here for Super Cali as Ting finally moving in for support. Frosty, well, doesn't need it after all. With AWP shots like that, Cass is quickly eliminated and Frosty is going to be backed into a corner. The incendiary's down. Mama must know there's a player here. The pre-fire comes out, but Ting responds quickly with the headshot. That's a 13th round for Podbots. And now the overtime is becoming a daunting prospect for Super Cali.
The nerves might be kicking in. Super Cali, they've had 6-round advantage in hand. Now that has been cut down to just a third. 2 rounds are separating these two teams. And Super Cali, well, they have to fix the leaks very, very soon, as the Deagles will be just the only thing content in round number 29. Arctic and Cheva getting the initial contact. Cheva with 2. And Cheva will get the third one. That is insane! Crazy headshots from the Podbots player.
This is going to take some serious work if Super Cali want to keep this one alive. They've ecoed, so at least next round they can force the buy and make something out of it, potentially, in that last possible moment. Get that win and take it to a third map, but it'd be a brutal way for Podbots to have things end. Especially with the way they've been performing tonight. Cheva caught with a big deagle hit as Cass tries to finish off the job. That completely opens up a site. And now Podbots have control of the site. It's all onto Slippers. She has to make something work. She's about to run into a player down mid. It's 14-15. The pressure is on for Super Cali. If Podbots are able to take this to OT, well, it might just mean Super Cali gets swept.
If at the end of Inferno I asked you if this map was going the full distance, you would call me crazy. But here we are, we're going to the full 30 rounds in this. And wow, Podbots, they do not want to wave the white flag anytime soon. And well, with just 1 round left, what do the Podbots do? What does Super Cali do in response? I mean, Super Cali has been struggling with all sorts of pushes that Podbots have created in the past couple of rounds, and they really need to put a stance down to this. If there's any round in which this would be very, very valuable for Super Cali, it is now. They do not want to let overtime happen, especially not against Podbots, which would be on full momentum.
There is going to be an extra weapon down. That could be worth something at this point. Frosty tries to land the shot, not able to. That gives at least the info that there's an AWP over on AUE. So it looks like instead, Podbots get ready to make some noise on B. They're trying to cause confusion for Super Cali right now. I think that's the aim of the game. Just cause a distraction, make them second guess themselves, and then you fully commit on something. Frosty looking over towards Ticket Booth now, ready for the peek, but Arctic peeks at exactly the same time. Makes it hard to land the shot. It looks like the bomb plant is going to come out almost immediately as Haxton gets ready to try and return something. Incendiary goes down, finds a considerable amount of damage. Cheva almost getting knocked to it now, so it's a 5 versus 5 with the bomb planted. Podbots were fully focused on getting that down and forcing the retake. Ting has been able to eliminate one. Kesem takes down another, followed by another. No, I can't tell. The feed went down, but it looks like he's able to come out on top in the end.
And it's a 2v3. We don't know what's happening yet, but the cities are desperately pushing into the side. Podbots just waiting, and Kesem's on fire. Kesem! That's a statement to take us into overtime. 15-15. And we need more.
That was a huge comeback there from Podbots, but it really just resets now. Nothing comes out of this. They just tie up for a couple of minutes. We are going to have a technical pause in a moment. We are just working on fixing the feed, but this round should go ahead as usual. As now, Podbots going to do everything they can to try and take this match without having to force the third map. Super Cali, on the other hand, holding on by the skin of their teeth.
No time to rethink your options. We're going forward with the rounds. Podbots in full steam and just rolling ahead. Super Cali, they need to find answers, and they need to find them really quick, as all their work from those 30 rounds that we've just watched, it's gone to nothing. We're all back to square one, and it's anyone's game, really.
Armor just waiting in that window as Podbots almost faking out repeatedly now. That incendiary didn't go where it was supposed to, as Mama has now given away the position. I think nerves definitely starting to play a factor here for Super Cali, and if Podbots can keep that aggression up, it will keep applying the pressure. Haxton, though, he finds one kill through the smoke as Kez is going to be able to trade it out onto Cheva. Now, though, as Arctic finds two, Kipray goes and gets yet another AWP kill. Ting tries to fake the plant, but there's already going to be a player on steps ready for it. Frosty needs to cover. Lands the kill. Tries to land another. There's still a player disadvantage here. Well, there was, I should say. Now finally it ties things up. It's a 2 versus 2. Podbots moving back. Surely Super Cali are going to read this in a couple of seconds, though. There's only 20 seconds left on the clock. They have to get this plant down immediately when they get to B. And if they even run into a wall by mistake here, they might not be able to do it. Super Cali still haven't moved. Ting might be able to pull off the plant if he gets in quick enough.
A 6-5, yes, he will be able to stick it down, and now the ball has dropped. Super Cali, they know that this is not A, but B. In fact, Ting with one of his crazy calls yet again, and it might pay off. As Frosty gets that kill. That is crazy. Frosty with another, and that's Podbots yet again. 16-15.
I cannot believe what we are witnessing right now. We are going to take a quick technical timeout to try and fix the issues with the feed, because with the way that this overtime is going, we do not want to miss a second of it. So we are working on it as quickly as we can. But oh my god, that was a huge AWP play. Can we just take a moment to think about what happened before this comeback started? Oh, it looks like the round is going to continue, so we'll talk about that later. At this point, I don't care if the quality is a bit scuffed. I just want to see every moment of this match.
Indeed, there will be time to talk about it. And quality, while it might be a little bit weird sometimes, it seems good now. It seems good to go. So, round number 2 of Overtime 1 underway. And, well, Super Cali, like you said just a couple of minutes ago, they seem to be just hanging in balance of this match by the skin of their teeth. They still haven't found any answers. Podbots found 7 rounds in a row in the meantime, and Super Cali has not even responded with one of their own. This is dire for CTs.
Armor still covering short as Podbots pretty much all committed to mid. Now finally looks like Cass is going to make that peak at the same time the flash comes out. Beautiful teamwork there, but Kesem is going to be able to trade it. Still 1-for-1 loss, and now it's time to completely reposition that bomb where it's going to go. Deny any info that Super Cali have been able to gain. Mama, no, that's not the spray you want to be hitting there. A big miss coming out, and it works out in the favor of Arctic Slippers, though. She's able to trade it for one. Cheva immediately there on it. Haxton, we've seen how powerful he can be, but right now it is just not looking promising. Kitray caught with some serious damage as well. Super Cali get ready for that repeat. Cheva is just going to be waiting, and you've got to think Kesem is there for the crossfire.
Cheva's position could be massive right here. 2 players from the cities coming out of kitchen. That could be devastating for them, but the smokes are there. Cheva strikes with one, and the spray does not connect, but it does find its way with Kesem's help at the end. Podbots 17-15, and it just seems like the train is not gonna stop. Podbots are on fire, and they refuse to drop a single round to Super Cali.
They need to keep this momentum up, though. It's not going to last forever, and in just a moment, things are going to swap. We saw how Podbots struggled over on their CT side. They're shortly going to be back there if they don't clean up quick. Kazam, with the headshot, finishes off Cass. Now Podbots, they've got the player advantage. Time to slow things right down. Cause as much confusion as possible. Arctic, though, is the solo on A with the bomb. Gonna have to wait for the rest of the team to move around. If they don't start making a move soon, you've got to think Super Cali are going to be the ones to do exactly that. Nobody wanting to give anything away. It almost seems like Podbots waiting to get another player advantage, then they commit, or maybe even just leave it till the last second for Super Cali to struggle.
If I was Super Cali at this point, I would be considering some sort of a gamble. The retakes have not been paying off. Podbots were able to shut them down almost every single time that a retake has happened. And it seems like Podbots in this situation, they will be going towards B yet again. Super Kali, 2 towards A, 2 towards B. They seem like they want to proceed with a default, and this could bite them yet again.
35 seconds on the clock, and now comes the execute from Super Kali. Molotovs are out, though. It's going to prevent the push. Not for long, though. Kezem, with the jump out the window, takes down Slippers. Mama going to be able to eliminate one, but Kezem quickly there to trade it out again. Incendiary goes down, but it's too late to prevent the plan. The AWP through the smoke. Now they have the info that one of them is going to be there. We know how powerful Haxton can be, but it's getting to a point now where it's becoming mission impossible. I say that, however, as Kitray takes down Kazam. Ting is there for the trade. Haxton now in a 1 versus 2 with the AWP, but Frosty's ready for it. And well, the first half of overtime goes the way of Podbots. Now they just look to seal the deal.
Podbots just 1 round away from progressing into the upper bracket. Final. Super Kali, you have to really think what has gone wrong. They've been literally 1 round away from forcing us to a decider. Now that decider is so far away that it could be almost unobtainable. Unless Super Kali get like 3 rounds in this overtime and force another. Super Kali, it's now or never. You have to do something here.
Kezem's waiting for the short push. Little does he know just how many have come down below. Window going to be getting smoked off. Sheva looks to do the same on short. Incendiary goes down. That's going to force everybody towards A. So nicely done here from Podbots. They're kind of attempting to corral Super Kali in a way that they can control, but ultimately they don't have control of that A site in the way they would have hoped. Bomb's still at the top of mid. Ting takes down one, follows it with a second. Mama trades it. Still, the player advantage goes the way of Podbots, taken even further now. Mama goes down. It's all on to Haxton. We've seen him make huge plays, but this would be a miracle to pull this off, to keep Super Kali in it and keep their dreams of remaining in the upper bracket alive. Haxton, he's made some noise. They're going to know exactly where he is as they just wait for the confirmation. Still no bomb planted. Still no kill for Haxton. And that's Mirage going the way of our ultimate match winners. Nicely done there from Podbots to take that win. It wasn't an easy one.
It wasn't an easy one, definitely. But Super Kali, you definitely will be feeling that little bit of displeasure, distaste. I'm not sure how to put it. But 15-9 it was on Mirage. And then Podbots, they take not 1, not 2, not 5, 10 rounds in a row. It's a statement right there, honestly. The resilience, the composure, the teamwork under such an immense pressure. It clearly shows Podbots were on fire today. And Super Kali, with their best efforts, unfortunately, it is a 2-0 at the end of the day.
Unfortunate for Super Kali. They did extremely well. I have to say that. They performed to their fullest in that second map. I think it just goes down to that first game on Inferno. That must be a weak point for them. Maybe hope next time they're going to be able to ban it, but that's not the way it unfolds. Before we go to a break, I do just want to quickly thank our sponsors, of course, Prime Video, Prime Shootman, and Omen for making this all possible. Go and check them all out while we take a short break. We'll be back in just a moment.
took a trip to future London. Saw something she wasn't supposed to. Now people from there are trying to kill us.
Welcome back, everybody. It has been an amazing evening. Only 2 games played, but I think they're about as exciting as a game of CS can get. The comeback from Podbots was huge. And to talk about that a little bit more, we have got Ting. So, Ting, how are you feeling after that match?
Hello. I'm feeling quite relieved after that match. It was quite a struggle towards the end. I got quite tilted midway through, but I'm glad we could bring it back in the end and manage to win it out.
Well, honestly, the tilt management must have been quite pristine then, because to take 10 maps in a row when you are 59 down, like, well, basically when the knife is on your throat and then you just decide, you know what, we're gonna not only force overtime, but then we're gonna take it very cleanly. Can you talk us a little bit through how did you manage to do it as a team?
Especially when we're down in situations like that. In my head, I know what I'm telling myself is every round is round by round. It's like there's no point looking at it the whole picture, or you're 59 down or 6 rounds away from getting overtime. It's just round by round, and if you win those rounds, you eventually do a comeback.
I mean, it worked out for you. I want to take you all the way back to that first game of the evening, as long ago as it felt, though. How did you feel? You know, Inferno, you know, it was your pick, so you must have been confident. But then, you know, having those few rounds towards the end where it started to slip away, how did that feel to you? What was your mindset going through that game as well? Because it was similar to this game that we just played, but kind of the opposite.
Yeah. So for Inferno, I believe we were very confident going into it. It's one of our best maps, well, our best map, and we knew that Super Cali don't play Inferno at all. A couple rounds in, we started to feel that with their setups and how they react to what we do, and I don't remember the score of half time. I think it was 14-1?
Something like that.
13-2.
It was close.
13-2, yeah. And second half we win pistol. Second round, we lose that, but I don't think at any point we felt unconfident that we're not going to win the map, because I believe we made a few mistakes on the second round, but over peaking, because it was 14-2, like he wasn't going to over peak. But at no point did we ever feel like we're not going to win the map, or yeah.
I mean, to be honest, with overpeaking, that didn't really feel unnatural. It felt sort of really in line with the strats that we have seen from you. Like, for example, I want to take you back to one of the rounds I think that was actually first round of overtime, potentially, where we had this whole carnage happening on A side, and then with like 25 seconds to go, you just decide, you know what, we're going to take this to B. Like, are the aggressive strats something that you guys have down to perfection, or was it this sort of a preparation against Super Cali especially?
So we weren't expecting to play Super Cali tonight at all. We were expecting KCL to win, so we prepped against KCL, and we played them on Sunday as well. But playing Super Cali, we had to quickly check what maps they play 5 minutes before the game. I quickly jumped into a Mirage demo, quickly checked their pistol. I just was quite surprised to play them. We didn't really whip out any strats that we've practiced, but as calling, I sort of just took some time to look at how they play CT, because they would always fight mid heavy towards the beginning, then sort of leave it and sort of push everywhere, try to push the extremity, sort of that. And then there's a point in the T half where I realized like going mid doesn't work for us, first of all, but also they don't really fight us mid either. So we just sort of gave up mid, started work towards the sites, and yeah.
Really, really impressive. Look, we're not going to keep you too long. That was a long match to play. I'm sure you want some rest. So, Ting, thank you so much for joining us, and best of luck in the next few rounds.
Thank you.
Well, that is it for us tonight. Yuki, thank you so much for joining me. But before we go, let's take a look over at the bracket, see how the other games are unfolding, see what we can expect going forward in the future. Hopefully, we can pull that up in just a second, if producer Tex isn't distracted, and there it is. So far, Podbots, of course, they take the clean sweep, and well, game 6, well, that's not finished yet, Yuki.
Yeah, that's still going on, of course. Half Nazi had Tapas. They've had a little bit of a delayed start going into the start of these playoffs. But honestly, once again, I want to reiterate, very good result for Podbots. Like you said, they are through to the upper bracket finals. Meanwhile, in the lower bracket, KCL Lions and Durham Defenders, they are the two teams to progress. So UEA Blue Jays, Swansea Storm Blue, they will unfortunately finish their journey in the playoffs of spring 2023.
That's unfortunate, not able to take a map in this stage, but that's the way it goes. This is why we have the playoffs. We want to separate the strong from the weak, and looking forward to next week, it's going to be a strong set of matches. But ultimately, Yuki, that's going to be the end of it for us tonight. It was a pleasure casting alongside you, and a huge thank you again to Prime Video, Prime Student, and Omen for making this event possible. Thank you so much for joining us. We will see you all next week.